Okay, I've had a few questions crop up from the last few videos that I've posted, which have all been based around this, the DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro, which is legit the best all-round camera you can get on the market today, in my opinion. Now, some of these questions I've answered before in previous videos, and I've talked about why I've got things set up and how you should let the camera run in full auto because it's just the easiest way of doing it. The cameras are so good nowadays, let it do the hard work. However, I've never really explained why I have things set the way I do. I've just said what I have done. So in this video, I thought we'd take a closer look at the settings I use and why I've got it set that way. And then if you've got anything to add, or if you feel like there's a better way of doing it, then let me know in the comments below, because it'd be great to get your vibes on this. Now, normally I'd be shooting in this, and I'm not. And I know what you're thinking, Tim, oh my God, what are you using to record this video with? You've just sold your Pocket 3, so what can you possibly be using? Well, let me fire this on and show you. I'm using one of these, an Insta360 webcam. Great. Now, by doing that, I have just broken one of the golden rules for this bare bones movement, and in fact, you'll notice I'm also breaking one of those rules for the bare bones movement. I'm using an external microphone, and I've just overlaid some B-roll, kind of. So, sorry about that, but I am down with using this fully remotely on its own with no extra bits and pieces. Okay, let's jump straight into the good stuff. What settings do I use, and why do I use them? Well, first of all, I run this thing in 4K, because why would you not record in the highest quality you can? I mean, maybe file size could be a limiting thing for you, and yes, I understand that uploading to the internet, there's an element of compression which can bring it down a little bit. And can you really tell the difference between a 2.7K and a 4K video here on YouTube when you're sitting on the toilet looking at it on your phone? I mean, I don't know, but I just like to know that I can record in the best quality possible, so that is why I use 4K. The second thing I go with is 24 frames per second. Now, I know there's an argument to using 30 frames per second instead of, but I use 24 because I think it looks better. And let's do a little comparison now. So right now you're looking at a spin around shot of me using 4K 24 frames per second. And now you're looking at a spin around shot of 4K 30 frames per second. I don't know about you. Can we really tell a big difference? Maybe, maybe not, but my brain just seems to like the number 24 rather than 30, so that's why I use it. The exposure value adjustment thing. Now, I just want to caveat all of this with, I am not a professional photographer or videographer. I've never been to film school, photography school. I've never taken a course. I don't do this. This is not my full-time job using these tools. I literally just use them for fun, to capture the moment. Skiing, snowboarding, jet skiing, out and about doing stuff, making memories, that kind of thing. I have started to get into a little bit of client paid work with my drone, the DJI the Avata 2, which is amazing, but I'm not professional. Everything I have learned has been self-taught from just experimenting with things and seeing what I like, what looks best to my eyes. And I encourage you to do the same. Set the thing up how it works best for you. So exposure value. This I have set at negative for my North American friends, or minus for the rest of us, 0.3. I just think it, again, makes the image look a bit better, a bit nicer to my eyes. So that's why, but you can tweak that to suit yourself. So EV value I have set at negative minus 0.3. Now let's move on to white balance. This is completely automated. I do nothing to this. The auto button is on. Let the camera do the work. It knows what it's doing. It can handle it absolutely fine. I'm not making a massive production to play on the big screen. It's just here. Auto white balance. That's why. Same thing for the ISO. I have the ISO set to auto. However, it is within a range. I have it set to a maximum, I believe, of 1600. I have been experimenting with a maximum of 800. Haven't been able to spot too much of a difference, so therefore I might leave it down at 800 as its max level, just to remove chances of some of that noise that might appear on the image. Okay, talking of image and image adjustments. Now this is something that you can do on this camera. Within here, there's some things that you can bring down. So it's called what are they called? Texture and noise reduction. Now these are digital enhancements of the image that's coming through, and I think when these are left to 0, which is the factory default, they can look digitally enhanced, which is what they are. So I've brought these down to -2 for both of them, and again I just think it makes the image look more natural. So noise reduction, texture, bring those down to -2. Okay, field of view. Now this is a hot topic. So I actually have this set to standard. The standard field of view, that means there is no warping or distortion of the image on the outside, which again, just makes everything look a little bit more natural. And I truly believe that the normal field of view is plenty wide enough for pretty much everything that you're going to be doing. Unless you need that little bit of extra space, which I'll touch on in a second, then leave it in the normal field of view so that you don't get any of that warping around the edges. Now I'm going to touch on image stabilization here, and I'm also going to mention a third-party piece of software called Gyroflow. Not a sponsored video in any way, shape or form. It's a free bit of software that you can use. I use it, it's great. So in order to use so let's come back to image stabilization just quickly. I have this set in pretty much the standard setting I've got this set to, it's rock steady. So I have normal field of view, de-warp, with the rock steady image stabilizations, that's a lot of words, with the rock steady image stabilization turned on. That will do a really, really good job for pretty much everything that I'm doing with this camera, but it will allow for a little bit of movement, which is good because I think that makes it look a little bit more natural. Now, why would I not use rock steady? Well, if I was doing client work, which sometimes I do with my drone, there are occasions where I will in fact use this to get some of the shots. So I will turn off the image stabilization. I will change the field of view to wide, record what I need to record, and then import that footage into Gyroflow. The reasons why I have it set to wide and image stabilization off is so that Gyroflow, why is that so? That's one of those words where you try and say it a million times and it sounds very different every time. To use footage out of this in that third-party software, let's say it that way around, I have to have this set to wide and its internal image stabilization set off so that the third-party software knows that it's come from this and it can do everything it needs to do. And it also means that if I needed to, I can have horizon level set. So by that, if I want something nice and steady and I do a little bit of a twitch or something like that, it will clear that up. So that's why. Normally, field of view set to normal, image stabilization rock steady. If I'm doing something where I need a little bit more control over it, I will go to wide because I want a bigger field of view because it's going to crop in, and I will use a third-party software for stabilizing the image. So that's why that one. So hopefully that answers a few questions about using this in the best settings you can use it and why I use those. If you enjoyed this video, you're getting something from it, click that like button. Don't forget to hit subscribe. In fact, definitely hit that subscribe button because I've got another little run through video coming up about this same camera, but on a slightly different subject. I've been asked some questions about ND filters and whether I use them, some external bits of kit and what I use and how I go about doing it and incorporating it into that almost bare bones style of doing things. And talking of ND filters, if you're interested to know what I think about those, then you can watch that video here where you can see me experiment and drop them in the sand, and then you'll get an idea of how versatile and bulletproof they actually are. But for now, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.